The massive screen in Earth's Defense Command Center lit up with dozens of red dots appearing at the edge of the solar system. Admiral Thomas Walker stood straight, his gray eyes fixed on the display. After 30 years of preparation, the moment they had all been waiting for had finally arrived. Multiple energy signatures detected near Pluto's orbit, sir, reported Officer Anna Reed, her fingers moving quickly across the control panel. They match the patterns we've been monitoring for the past 50 years. Walker nodded, his expression remaining calm. Notify all defense stations. Code Silver. His voice was steady, showing none of the tension that filled the room. Within seconds, silent alerts reached every major military installation on Earth and its colonies. Deep beneath the surface of every continent, hidden facilities hummed to life. In orbit, seemingly ordinary satellites quietly transformed into defensive positions. Humanity had long prepared for this day, and they would not be caught off guard. The alien fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel in a brilliant display of purple and blue energy. 27 ships, each larger than Earth's biggest cities, arranged themselves in a formation that was clearly meant to intimidate. Their design spoke of advanced technology and military might, all curves and smooth lines, with weapons ports visible along their hulls. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies, sir," Anna announced. "The message is being automatically translated." The main screen switched to show an alien figure. He looked almost human, except for his silvery skin and completely black eyes. He wore an elaborate uniform covered in what appeared to be military decorations. "People of Earth," the alien spoke in perfectly translated English. "I am High Ambassador Marcus of the Galactic Empire. We have come to welcome your world into our grand civilization. Your species has shown remarkable progress, and the Empire has deemed you worthy of integration." Walker exchanged glances with Defense Minister Helen Ross, who stood quietly in the corner. They had practiced this scenario countless times. "This is Admiral Thomas Walker of the United Earth Defense Force," Walker responded. "We appreciate your interest in Earth, Ambassador Marcus. However, we must inform you that Earth is a sovereign world and intends to remain so." The ambassador's expression shifted slightly, showing what might have been amusement. "Admiral Walker, perhaps I wasn't clear. This isn't an invitation. It's a notification. The Empire has claimed this sector of space. Your cooperation, while preferred, is not required for the process." Walker allowed himself a small smile. "With respect, Ambassador, I believe you misunderstand our position. Earth does not recognize the Empire's authority over our solar system or our planet. We formally decline integration into your Empire." The atmosphere in the command center grew tenser as Marcus's expression darkened. "Admiral, you clearly don't grasp the situation. The Empire controls over 10,000 worlds. Our fleet's smallest ship could level your largest cities. Resistance would only bring unnecessary suffering to your people." "We understand perfectly, Ambassador," Walker replied calmly. "However, you might find that Earth is not as defenseless as you assume. We strongly recommend against any hostile actions." Marcus leaned forward, his black eyes seeming to grow darker. "Is that a threat, Admiral?" "Not at all. Simply a friendly warning. Earth values peaceful relations, but we will defend ourselves if necessary. We suggest diplomatic discussions as equals instead." The ambassador's laugh was cold and sharp. "Equals? Your species has barely reached your own moon. The Empire was conquering worlds before your people invented the wheel. You have one planetary cycle to reconsider your position. After that, we will begin the integration process, with or without your cooperation." The transmission cut off abruptly. Walker turned to Helen Ross, who was already moving toward the command table. "All defense systems are ready," she reported. "Quantum shields are at full power, and our countermeasures are in place. They won't find us as primitive as they expect." Walker nodded, looking back at the screen showing the Imperial fleet. "Send word to all stations. This is not a drill. And contact our Mars colony. Tell them to activate the Prometheus protocol." He paused, then added, "The Empire thinks they're dealing with a primitive civilization that will bow down before their superior technology. Let's show them how wrong they are." As the command center burst into activity, Walker allowed himself a moment of reflection. Humanity had spent half a century preparing for this moment, building defenses in secret, developing technologies that would surprise even the Empire. They would not surrender their freedom without a fight, and they had more than a few surprises ready for any would-be conquerors. The next 24 hours would show the Empire exactly what they were dealing with. Earth was ready. Ambassador Marcus paced in his command chamber aboard the Imperial flagship, reviewing the scans of Earth for the 100th time. Something wasn't right. The readings didn't match what their long-range scans had shown for the past century. "Run the deep scan again," he ordered his science officer. "There must be something we're missing." On Earth, deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Admiral Walker led Ambassador Marcus through a massive underground facility. This wasn't a sign of weakness. It was a carefully planned show of strength. 50 years ago, Walker explained as they walked through the reinforced corridors, "We detected your first signals, an automated probe passing through our outer solar system. That's when we knew we weren't alone." Marcus's black eyes widened slightly. Impossible. That probe was equipped with stealth technology. Walker smiled. "Yes, it was. That's how we knew it was artificial. Nothing in nature is perfectly invisible." They reached a massive viewing chamber overlooking an underground city that stretched for miles. This is just one of 30 such facilities worldwide. The underground city buzzed with activity. Thousands of people went about their daily lives. Children played in parks under artificial sunlight, and trains moved silently along magnetic tracks. The whole scene looked like a slice of surface life, simply moved underground. "After finding your probe," Walker continued, "we knew others would come. Earth's governments united in secret, pooling our resources and best minds. Every major technological breakthrough in the past 50 years has had one hidden purpose: preparing for this moment." Marcus struggled to hide his shock. The Empire's scans had shown only primitive satellite technology, basic space stations, and early colony efforts on Mars. Nothing like this. "Your cities above," Marcus started, "are fully operational but can be evacuated in under 6 hours. Helen Ross explained, joining them. "The same is true for every major population center on Earth. We've had regular drills for decades. The public thinks they're natural disaster preparations." They entered a control room where dozens of operators monitored global defense systems. A massive holographic display showed Earth, its orbital installations, and the Imperial fleet holding position near Pluto. "We've watched your Empire's expansion," Walker said. "We saw how you subjugate worlds, strip them of resources, and absorb their populations into your workforce. Earth chose a different path." Marcus straightened his posture, trying to regain his diplomatic composure. "The Empire brings order and advancement to primitive worlds. You bring slavery wrapped in pretty words," Helen interrupted. "We've decoded enough of your transmissions to know the truth. How many worlds have really joined your Empire willingly?" The ambassador's silver skin flushed darker. "You've been spying on Imperial communications. That's an act of prudence," Walker finished. "Just like these." He pressed a button, and the holographic display zoomed in on one of Earth's seemingly primitive satellites. Its outer shell shimmered and disappeared, revealing advanced weapon systems and shield generators. "Thousands of them," Helen added, "hidden in plain sight. Your scans saw what we wanted you to see. Old technology, primitive defenses. The truth is quite different." Marcus felt cold sweat on his neck, something his species rarely experienced. "Why show me this?" "Because we want peace," Walker said simply. "But it must be peace between equals. Earth won't be another conquered world in your collection. We're giving you a chance to change history. The Empire can have Earth as an ally or—" He let the sentence hang. "Or?" Marcus asked, though he already knew the answer. or you'll learn why we spent 50 years preparing for this day." Walker's voice remained calm, but his eyes were steel. "The choice is yours, Ambassador, but choose carefully. You have 20 hours left." As Marcus was escorted back to his shuttle, his mind raced. None of this was in any Imperial protocol. No world had ever hidden their technology so completely. No species had ever prepared so thoroughly. The Empire had conquered countless civilizations, but they had never encountered anything like this. In his chambers later, Marcus drafted 2 messages. The first, to Imperial Command, requesting immediate reinforcements. The second, which he hoped he wouldn't have to send, was a warning to all ships. Earth was not what they thought it was, and the next 20 hours would prove it. The Imperial fleet moved into position around Mars, their massive ships casting long shadows across the red planet's surface. Ambassador Marcus stood on his flagship's bridge, watching the human colony below. It was time to show these upstart humans the true power of the Empire. "Target their main dome," he ordered. "Minimal power. We just want to crack it, not destroy it completely. Let's show them what they're dealing with." In Earth's Defense Command, Admiral Walker watched the Imperial ships with calm eyes. Next to him, Commander Lisa Stone of the Mars Defense Force appeared as a hologram, her expression confident. "They're positioning for an attack on Mars Colony 1, she reported. "Just as we expected." Walker nodded. "Are your people ready, Commander?" "Everyone's in position, sir. The colonists are safe in the deep bunkers. Let them try their little demonstration." The Imperial ship's weapon ports began to glow with purple energy. Marcus allowed himself a small smile. One shot would break their resolve. These humans needed to learn their place. "Fire," he commanded. The beam of energy that shot from his ship could have leveled a small city. It streaked toward Mars Colony 1, its purple light reflecting off the dome's surface. Marcus waited for the satisfying sight of the colony's dome cracking under Imperial power. It never came. The energy beam hit what looked like clear air about a mile above the colony. Instead of continuing toward its target, it splashed against an invisible barrier, spreading out like water on glass. The entire shield briefly shimmered with a blue-white light, revealing its massive dome shape, before becoming invisible again. "Impossible," Marcus whispered. "Maximum power. Fire all primary weapons." The Imperial fleet opened fire, pouring enough energy into their attack to level a continent. The shield appeared again, glowing brighter but holding firm. The combined firepower of 27 Imperial warships was being stopped by nothing they could see. In the command center, Walker turned to Dr. James Miller, the lead scientist behind Earth's defensive systems. "Care to explain to our Imperial friends what they're looking at?" Miller pressed a button, opening a channel to the Imperial fleet. "What you're experiencing, Ambassador, is a quantum shield. It doesn't just block energy. It redistributes it across multiple dimensions. The more power you use, the stronger it gets. Quite effective, isn't it?" Marcus's voice came back, tight with fury. "No planetary civilization has this technology. It's impossible." "Clearly not," Walker replied. "And Mars isn't the only place we've installed it. Commander Stone, would you like to demonstrate our other preparations?" Lisa smiled. "Gladly, Admiral." She pressed a control on her end. Across the Martian surface, hidden installations began to appear. Defensive towers rose from the red sand. Massive hangar doors opened to reveal squadrons of advanced fighters. The entire face of Mars seemed to transform as humanity's hidden defenses revealed themselves. "As you can see," Walker continued, "Mars isn't just a colony. It's a fortress. One of many we've built throughout our solar system. Would you like to see what Jupiter's moons look like when they drop their camouflage?" Marcus watched in growing horror as his tactical display updated. The supposedly primitive human defenses were transforming before his eyes, revealing layer upon layer of advanced technology that had been completely hidden from Imperial scans. "Admiral," Marcus said, his voice now carrying a note of uncertainty, Perhaps we should discuss this situation further. I agree, Walker replied. But first, we should talk about your fleet's current position. You see, you're sitting in the middle of what we call a defensive grid. Those quantum shields you just tested, they can also focus energy quite effectively. Would you like a demonstration? As if to emphasize his point, dozens of satellites around Mars suddenly decloaked, their weapons clearly targeting the Imperial ships. You have 1 hour to withdraw to your original position near Pluto, Walker stated calmly. After that, we'll have to ask you to leave our solar system entirely. I suggest you use this time to contact your superiors. Explain to them that Earth is not a primitive world to be conquered. We are a force to be reckoned with. As the Imperial ships hastily backed away from Mars, Marcus realized that the Empire had made a terrible mistake. They hadn't found another primitive world to conquer. They had stumbled upon a sleeping giant, one that had spent 50 years preparing for this exact moment. The game had changed, and for the first time in his career, Marcus wasn't sure the Empire could win. The Imperial fleet's computer systems lit up with thousands of warning signals. Their ship's advanced AI systems were under attack, being probed and tested by something they had never encountered before. Shut down all non-essential systems, Marcus ordered, watching as screen after screen turned red. How are they doing this? Their technology was supposed to be primitive. In Earth's Cyber Defense Center, hidden beneath the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Emma Grant watched her quantum AI systems at work. The Empire's digital defenses were strong, but they were facing something completely new, human ingenuity combined with true artificial intelligence. Their systems are exactly what we expected, she reported to Admiral Walker through a secure channel. They'd never faced quantum computing before. Their AI is advanced, but it thinks in straight lines. Ours thinks in multiple dimensions. Walker nodded, watching the main display as Earth's cyber assault continued. Show me what they're trying to do. The screen filled with data streams. The Empire was attempting to hack Earth's defense grid, trying to disable the quantum shields. Their attack was powerful but predictable. They had relied on their superior technology for too long. Their entire fleet network is connected, Emma explained. They never expected to face an enemy who could match their technology. It's their biggest weakness. She typed a command, and new data appeared. Look at this. They're trying to upload a virus to our satellites. Walker smiled slightly. Spring the trap. Emma pressed a button, and suddenly the Empire's virus attack reversed. Their own connected systems had become their vulnerability. Earth's quantum AI flowed through the breach they had created, spreading through their network like water through cracks. On the Imperial flagship, Marcus watched in horror as his ship's systems began to shut down one by one. Weapons, shields, and even life support were being controlled by an alien intelligence that seemed to be everywhere at once. How is this possible? He demanded. These humans, they couldn't have developed this technology on their own. His science officer looked up from his console, fear visible in his black eyes. Sir, I'm detecting quantum signatures in their cyber attacks. They're not using standard computing. They're using something far more advanced. Something we've only theorized about. In the Cyber Defense Center, Emma received a message from one of her AI systems. Admiral, we found something interesting. Their ships contain records of other civilizations, ones that resisted the Empire. They were all defeated because they couldn't match the Empire's technology. But we didn't just match it, Walker said. We surpassed it. While they were watching our public technology develop slowly, our secret programs took a different path. He opened a channel to Marcus's ship, which was now running on emergency power only. Ambassador, Walker's voice filled the Imperial bridge. I believe it's time for another demonstration. Your cyber attack just gave us complete access to your fleet's database. Would you like to know what we found? Marcus stood rigid, his silver skin pale with stress. You can't possibly understand our technology well enough to decrypt your files, to understand your tactical databases, to learn about all the worlds you've conquered. Walker interrupted. We've had 50 years to prepare for this, Ambassador. 50 years to develop technologies you never imagined possible. Right now, your ships are under our control. Your weapons are disabled. Your engines will only work if we allow them to. Emma's voice joined the transmission. We could shut down your life support. We could make your ships fly into each other. We could send you into the sun. But we won't, because that's the difference between us and your empire. We don't destroy those who oppose us. We simply stop them from destroying us. Marcus looked around his powerless bridge, at his crew working frantically to regain control of their ships. For the first time in Imperial history, they weren't just facing resistance, they were facing complete defeat. "What are your terms?" he asked quietly. "The same as before," Walker replied. "Leave our solar system. Tell your empire that Earth is not a target for conquest. We are willing to be allies, to trade, to share knowledge, but only as equals, never as subjects." As Marcus considered these words, his ship's power began to return. Earth was giving them back control, showing both mercy and strength. The Empire had never encountered anything like this before. They had finally met their match. Dr. Emma Grant stared at her screen in the Cyber Defense Center, her eyes wide with surprise. After their successful defense against the Empire's cyber attack, she had been sorting through the captured data. What she found changed everything. "Admiral Walker," she called through the secure channel, "you need to see this immediately." Within minutes, Walker and Helen Ross stood behind Emma's chair, watching as she displayed file after file from the Imperial database. The information revealed a truth they hadn't expected. "These are records of resistance," Emma explained, pointing to the screen. "Not just one or two worlds, dozens of them. They all fought back against the Empire, but they fought alone. And they all fell, one by one." Walker leaned closer, reading the details. "Some of these civilizations were highly advanced. Why haven't we heard their distress signals?" Because of this, Emma pulled up another file. The Empire doesn't just conquer worlds. They erase them from history. They destroy all records of resistance, rewrite the stories of their conquests. According to their official records, every world joined them willingly. In his quarters aboard the Imperial flagship, Ambassador Marcus received an encrypted message that made his silver skin turn pale. The message came from someone he never expected to hear from, General Laura White, commander of the Empire's Third Fleet, and secretly part of a growing resistance within the Empire itself. "The humans know the truth," the message read, "and they're not like the others. They can't be conquered. It's time." Marcus sat heavily in his chair. For 20 years, he had been part of a secret movement within the Empire. Those who saw the corruption, the cruelty, the endless conquest, and wanted it to end. But they had never found a civilization strong enough to stand against the Empire's might. Until now. Back on Earth, Walker called an emergency meeting of the Defense Council. The room fell silent as Emma shared her discoveries. "There's more," she continued. "A faction within the Empire has been working in secret, looking for a civilization strong enough to break the Empire's power. They've been watching us, helping hide our preparations from the Empire's main forces." Helen Ross spoke up. "That explains how we managed to keep our advanced technology hidden for so long. We had help from the inside." "Exactly," Emma nodded. "And now, these resistance members hold key positions throughout the Empire. They've been waiting for a world that could prove the Empire isn't invincible. That's us." A new transmission came in. Ambassador Marcus requesting an urgent private meeting. Walker agreed, but with conditions. The meeting would take place in orbit, on Earth's new space station that had just dropped its camouflage. Hours later, Marcus stood before Walker, Helen, and Emma in the station's secure conference room. Gone was his proud Imperial stance. Instead, he looked tired, but relieved. "You've discovered the truth," he said simply. "Yes, there is resistance within the Empire. Many of us have waited generations for a civilization like yours, one that prepared, that developed in secret that could stand against the Empire's full might. "Why tell us this now?" Walker asked. "Because you've done something unprecedented," Marcus replied. "You didn't just resist. You defeated us completely. Our best weapons failed. Our strongest cyber attacks backfired. You proved what we've known for centuries. The Empire isn't invincible. And now, others will know it too." Helen stepped forward. "The other conquered worlds. They're watching, aren't they?" Marcus nodded. "Every moment, every defeated attack, every failed invasion attempt, it's all being broadcast across the Empire's secret networks. You're showing them something they've never seen before: hope." Walker considered this information carefully. Earth had prepared for invasion, for war, for victory. But this was something different. They weren't just fighting for their own freedom anymore. They were becoming a symbol for others who had lost theirs. "Tell us everything," Walker said finally. "About the Resistance, about the conquered worlds, about the Empire's true weaknesses. It's time to turn this victory into something bigger." Marcus smiled for the first time since arriving in the solar system. "That's exactly what we've been waiting to hear." The game had changed again. Earth wasn't just defending itself anymore. It was about to become the spark that would ignite a revolution across the galaxy. The news spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Through hidden channels and secret networks, the story of Earth's successful resistance reached every corner of the Empire. A small blue planet had stood up to the Imperial fleet. And won. In the Earth Defense Command Center, Admiral Walker watched as reports flooded in from dozens of worlds. The spark of rebellion had caught flame faster than anyone expected. 3 more systems have declared independence in the Orion sector, Helen Ross reported, marking the locations on the giant star map. The Empire's forces are spread thin trying to contain the uprising. General Laura White's hologram appeared in the command center. The Imperial resistance leader's face showed both excitement and concern. Earth's defense technology is being shared through our networks. 6 worlds have already activated their own hidden quantum shields. The Empire can't break through. Walker nodded, studying the tactical display. "What about the Empire's response?" "They're in chaos," Laura replied. "Half their fleet commanders are secretly part of our resistance. Those still loyal to the Empire don't know who to trust. Their entire command structure is falling apart." Ambassador Marcus, now openly working with Earth and the Resistance, entered the command center with Dr. Emma Grant. "Our agents have locked down the Empire's main shipyards," he reported. "They won't be able to build new warships anytime soon." Emma pulled up new data on the main screen. "The quantum AI network we developed is spreading through Imperial systems. Their control over their territories is breaking down. People are learning the truth about their history, about how their worlds were really conquered. The Empire's trying to maintain control through their propaganda networks," Helen added, "but we're broadcasting real-time footage of Earth's defensive capabilities. Everyone can see that resistance is possible." Walker turned to Marcus. "How many worlds are ready to fight?" "More than we expected," Marcus replied. "Many worlds maintain secret defense programs, just like Earth. They were just waiting for the right moment, waiting to see proof that the Empire could be defeated." The main screen lit up with new alerts. Laura's hologram straightened. "The Centauri systems have just declared independence. Their quantum shields are active, and their defense fleet is engaging Imperial forces. The Empire's losing control of the Vega sector," Helen reported. 3 more worlds have activated defense systems based on Earth's designs. Imperial ships are being forced to retreat. Emma's console beeped urgently. "Admiral, we're receiving transmissions from at least 20 other worlds. They're asking for Earth's help to coordinate their defense efforts." Walker looked around the room at his team, then at the growing number of green dots on the star map, each representing a world in open rebellion against the Empire. What had started as Earth's defense had become something much bigger. "Send word to all resistance worlds," he ordered. Earth will share our defense technology with any world that stands against the Empire. Our quantum shields and AI systems are now available to all who fight for freedom." Marcus stepped forward. "The Empire's Supreme Council is demanding an emergency meeting. They're finally realizing they can't stop this." "Good," Walker replied. "Tell them Earth is willing to negotiate, not just for ourselves, but for every world that wants independence. The age of the Empire is over. It's time for something new." Laura's hologram smiled. "The rebellion we've waited centuries for is finally happening. And it's all because Earth showed everyone that resistance wasn't futile. It was possible." As if to emphasize her words, more alerts flashed across the main screen. Another sector declaring independence, more worlds activating defense systems, Imperial ships standing down or joining the resistance. The Empire thought they found another primitive world to conquer, Helen said quietly. Instead, they found the one world that would end their reign. Walker looked at the growing rebellion spreading across the galaxy. Earth had done more than just defend itself. It had become a beacon of hope for countless civilizations. The revolution they had sparked would reshape the galaxy. And it all started because humanity had chosen to prepare rather than surrender, to innovate rather than submit, to stand together rather than fall alone. The empire of fear was crumbling, replaced by an alliance of free worlds. And Earth was leading the way. 1 year after Earth's first contact with the Empire, Admiral Walker stood on the observation deck of humanity's first intergalactic diplomatic station. The massive structure floated at the edge of the solar system, its quantum shields gleaming faintly in the starlight. Below him, representatives from over 200 formerly Imperial worlds gathered for a historic meeting. The last Imperial stronghold surrendered this morning, Helen Ross reported, joining him at the window. The empire that ruled for 1,000 years fell in less than a year. Walker nodded, watching ships from dozens of different civilizations dock at the station. Not fell, transformed. That's what makes this different from other rebellions in history. In the main assembly hall, Dr. Emma Grant worked with alien scientists, teaching them how to integrate quantum AI systems with their own technology. The spirit of cooperation that Earth had shown during the rebellion had created something new, a true alliance of worlds. The Quantum Shield network is now active across all member worlds, she announced as Walker and Helen entered the hall. Our combined AI systems are working together better than we ever expected. Ambassador Marcus, now serving as the representative of his people rather than the Empire, approached them with a smile. The transition councils on all former Imperial worlds report success. The change from Imperial control to local governance has been peaceful. Because we didn't just tear things down, Walker replied. We helped build something better. General Laura White, who had helped coordinate the rebellion from within the Empire, joined their conversation. The Imperial military forces that surrendered are being integrated into the new defense alliance. They're eager to serve as protectors rather than conquerors. The main screens in the hall lit up, showing real-time images from across the galaxy. Worlds that had lived under Imperial rule for centuries were flourishing under their new freedom. The quantum technology shared by Earth had given them not just defense, but new ways to grow and develop. The trade networks are stronger than they ever were under Imperial control, Helen noted, studying the data. Free worlds working together accomplish more than forced subjects ever could. Emma brought up another display, showing the new Galactic communication network. Our quantum AI systems have created a translation matrix that allows instant communication between all member worlds. Barriers that kept civilizations apart are falling every day. Walker looked around the hall at the gathering of species, former enemies now working together, sharing knowledge, building a better future. This is what the Empire never understood, he said. True strength doesn't come from conquest. It comes from cooperation. Marcus nodded in agreement. They thought controlling everything was the only way to maintain order. Earth showed us there was another path. Speaking of paths, Laura added, the exploration teams are ready. Now that we're not fighting a war, People want to see what's beyond the Empire's old borders. And they'll go as explorers, not conquerors, Helen said. That's the difference Earth brought to the galaxy. The assembly quieted as Walker stepped up to the central platform. Representatives from hundreds of worlds turned to listen to the leader who had helped free them. 1 year ago, Earth stood alone against the Empire, he began. Today, we stand together as equals, as friends, as partners in creating something new. The alliance of free worlds is not built on force or fear, but on cooperation and mutual respect. He gestured to the stars visible through the station's windows. Our worlds are different. Our species are different. Our cultures are different. But we share common values: freedom, dignity, and the right of all peoples to choose their own path. The Empire taught worlds to bow down. Earth taught them to stand up. Now we will go forward together, not to conquer, but to explore, not to dominate, but to learn. This is our new dawn. As applause filled the hall, Walker looked out at the sea of faces, human and alien, former Imperial and former subject, all united in building a better future. Earth had done more than resist an empire. It had helped create a new age of freedom and cooperation across the galaxy. The story that began with a simple no to imperial demands had ended with a yes to a new way of living among the stars.